Hello everyone, and here we have a new story. Before we get to that, I want to ask you to subscribe, like, and be sure to write comments in order to participate in the development of the community. I want to thank everyone for their support and the people who wrote to me by mail, broadcasting news stories. Don't forget to put a bell in order not to miss new videos. And now let's go. I am 26. My wife is 23. I have been married to my wife for only 2 years, lived normally, did not even quarrel, both earned enough money. We even thought about buying a second car and going on vacation. I wanted to take her to the Dominican Republic. My wife really liked the beaches there. But just one incident changed everything. When I caught her cheating, I was overcome with anger. I swore to myself that I would take revenge on her in the same spirit. At work, my wife was celebrating the boss's birthday. I couldn't go because I was busy. It was the first time she went alone. We always attended any holidays or parties together. Somehow, at the very beginning of our family life, my wife also could not go with me. She was replacing a work colleague. On this day, I warned my boss that I would not be able to attend the company's anniversary without my wife. In the evening, I cooked dinner, took a bottle of wine, and a gift at a jewelry salon, waited for my wife from work, met her, and took her to the bathroom to clean up. After that, I closed her galahs and took her to the hall, where a surprise was waiting for her. We had a romantic evening. My wife was delighted, but this time she decided to go to the event without me. At least I had hoped that she would stay at home. By the evening, my colleague suggested that I still go to the event with my wife. He would finish the rest of the work without me. I thanked him, packed my things, and left. I didn't warn my wife. I wanted to make a pleasant surprise. When I arrived at the place, the fun was in full swing. Those who met me immediately poured whiskey. I drank it, but I never found my wife. At that moment, I thought of something bad and began to worry a lot. Everyone was looking for the technical director. I do not know why I immediately went to his office, pulled the handle. The office was locked. I went up to the cleaner and asked her for the keys to the office, said I was tired and wanted to sit in silence. I took the key and went to the door of the technical director's office, opened it, and abruptly went inside, turning on the light. One glance was enough. Everything was happening on the desktop. The director slowly turned his head, made round eyes. My wife stuck her head out from under him, somehow screamed slightly, and pushed him away. I stand and watch as she searches the office for her underwear. All the clothes were scattered all over the office. What was in my head? Don't ask me. I wanted to kill them both, but I thought about whether it was worth going to jail and ruining my life because of it. A little more, and I would not be able to calmly watch my wife put on the found underpants. I gathered all my strength into a fist, turned around and left the building, caught a taxi, and drove home. Halfway home, my phone rang. It was her. I didn't pick up the phone, and then I turned off the phone altogether. When I got home, I immediately opened a bottle of expensive whiskey and began to drink directly from the bottle, emptied half, then took a glass, poured more, and went out into the hall. I turned on the TV and started drinking whiskey. I didn't hear or see the TV. Something terrible was going on in my head, and the most important questions: why is she doing this to me? And for what? An hour later, my wife arrived. I heard a car drive up and looked out the window. There was a technical director in the car. When she entered the room, I indifferently asked why she entered the house alone, where her beloved man was. Why did he not enter? My wife started crying, threw herself at my feet, hugged my knees, and through her tears began to say something about a mistake, an accident, and that she did not want to cheat on me. It's just that alcohol clouded her mind and everything happened by itself, that she was not to blame for anything and everything like that. I didn't ask how long they had it going on. I just said that now I have the right to repay the same coin. My wife's crying suddenly subsided. She raised her head and said with disbelief that I could not do this to her. It was just a mistake, and it can't even be called treason. Her actions were accidental and not planned, and I will act according to plan and intentionally. So this is a real betrayal. I must have been nervous, and the effect of alcohol made me laugh out loud. I laughed until my stomach hurt. She looked at me like I was crazy, and then she slapped me and said with anger in her voice that if I did this, our marriage was over. That's when I got angry and started saying, "How can I be sure of you? That you won't be lying on the technical director's desk anymore?" I saw that her face was distorted with anger, and she muttered through her teeth that I should take her word for it. It was just a mistake, but now she doesn't trust me anymore. I lost my temper and hit the closet with my fist so that it crumbled like a cardboard house. My wife was scared by what was happening, saying that I had never behaved like this. The frightened wife went to bed. I lay down on the sofa, watched TV, finished the second bottle of whiskey, didn't sleep all night. I kept thinking about what happened, how she slept. I don't even know. Early in the morning, I left the house, wandered around the city for a long time, replaced the SIM card. Then, I went to the pub and sat for a long time, collecting my thoughts, ordering a glass after a glass. Returning home at night, my wife was furious and immediately started asking where I had been all day and why my phone was turned off. I replied that I was enjoying life and went to a restaurant. My wife immediately had questions. Who did I invite to the restaurant? What's her name? How old is she? Is she married or not? I said that she had no moral right to demand answers to her questions. Then there was a scandal, shouting, accusations. It happened every time I was late on the way home. When I stayed late at work, she began to come to my office. A beautiful young girl who held the position of manager approached her and directly asked why my wife was following me. She made a scandal again. God, I was so ashamed. At every communication with the female sex at my work, she screamed, approached, and viciously rejected them. I was even told to talk to her because it's not normal and scares the firm's clients. I talked and she stopped coming to my office, but when I came home, I listened to a bunch of different nonsense every day. At some point, I couldn't stand it and sent her to one place. I think you understood where she had a tantrum that lasted 4 hours, and during that time, I heard a lot of things, starting with insults and ending with pleas for forgiveness. I saw how our family was being destroyed. We slept separately, although my wife came to my sofa several times, coming up with different motives to stay. Then she was scared. Then she was scared. Then she missed me, or she couldn't sleep herself, and much more. But I had no desire, and I kicked her out to my room. Got a scandal in response and listened to that I was a soulless freak who had received my share of affection, so I was cold with her. One day during lunch, I dropped by for a snack in a cafe. There, I met a pretty girl. The relationship developed quickly. We dated for about a year. Eventually, the moment came when I came home and told my wife that I was ready to repay her in kind and I wanted to get a divorce. In response, she again made a scandal, fought, and even scratched my face. Out of anger, I shouted at her to take her things and get out of my house. What did I hear in response? That I am a weakling and that in our entire married life, she has never experienced an orgasm, and that my pathetic penis is very small, that I am not a man, but a rag who is unable to forgive some minor mistake made by the woman I love, that I've never loved, because when you love, it's forgiven. Then I told her loudly that when people love, they don't cheat. Obviously, she didn't have an answer, and she fell silent. She refused to leave. The next day, I took a day off from work, went and filed for divorce. When I got home while my wife was at work, I changed the door locks. I got a call from the police. As it turned out, my wife tried to open the locks, called the burglar, but he saw that more than one key did not fit and called the police. I asked her to be released and that I have no complaints against her. After that, I never saw her again in my life. I haven't been married for 3 years. I live with a girl I met in a cafe. Everything is fine with us. We seem to get along, but I'm already afraid to start a family. Suddenly, something else will happen. Friends, what do you say? Maybe someone went through this and was able to create a new family. Tell me how to overcome this fear. Write comments. I will wait and read them. Thank you very much. And that's it. Channel Author's Tips. I understand that your journey has been filled with pain, betrayal, and the struggle to get back on your feet. The wounds inflicted by infidelity are deep, and the emotional consequences can be overwhelming. I want you to know that you are not alone in this experience, and your feelings are justified. As you continue your healing journey, I urge you to remember that time is a great healer. Although the scars may never completely disappear, they will gradually lose their power to haunt you. It is important to understand that revenge is a tempting path, but it rarely leads to the solution you are looking for. Instead, focus your energy on understanding your emotions and working with them healthily. The new relationships you have found show that you are able to open your heart again. Remember that every person and situation is unique and you deserve a chance at happiness. Give yourself time to heal, grow, and learn from your past experiences. Seek professional help if you find it difficult to cope with an emotional burden. Parting with your past can be painful, but it is an important step towards creating a bright future. Accept the lessons you have learned and use them to lay a stronger foundation for yourself in any future relationship. Remember that you have the power to free yourself from the chains of distrust and fear. Let your journey be dedicated to self-discovery, healing, and finding the love and happiness you deserve. I hope that you will overcome your fear and be able to start a new family. I wish all the people in this situation strength and perseverance. I believe you can. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey of love, betrayal, and redemption. I appreciate your support and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this story. Your participation and feedback are invaluable for shaping our content and promoting mutual understanding and community growth. Until we meet again.